Hello and welcome to Ask Miss Myrz, where we answer your most burning questions and solve your most nagging problems. I won't always know the answer, but I'll know someone who will. In today's fast paced world where love prospects galore are at the ready in just one swipe, why do so many say it's getting harder and harder to find love? And what more, true love? Add to that the social isolation during the pandemic that has been detrimental to everyone's love life. Whether you're looking for love or are unsure of the love that you have, today's guest will give us not just hope, but very practical solutions. Please welcome relationship coach, life skills and conflict resolution trainer, and counselor, Coach Aileen Santos.
Hi everyone. Good
Hi, Eileen.
afternoon. Hi
Hello.
Myrz. Hello.
I
First
think
time na
we're
pareg.
wearing the same Valentine color. So happy
Yes.
Valentine.
Happy Valentine's in advance.
Looks like a very busy month for you.
Yes, actually, yes. It's like the month where people realize, oh my gosh, I haven't been paying attention to my love life. I think I'll call someone to make miracles happen.
And of course, they call you. And do you make
Yeah.
miracles happen?
No, I let them realize that they are in charge of writing their love story. And that's
Oh,
actually key to what we're going to be talking about today.
right. There will be a bit of effort involved.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
does the concept of Valentine's Day help or make things easier for people's conceptions of true love?
Okay. It actually isn't Valentine's Day that at fault if
Yeah,
anything,
right.
but it's what people expose themselves to in terms of the things that they read, the things that they watch, because especially in this generation, we have information and different
Right.
kinds of information are available. But the question is, what information are we exposing ourselves to? There are some people who are just into, yeah, so like you can have a Netflix subscription, right? But some people will use it to watch really uh toxic drama filled series or stories. On the other hand, some people will watch it for documentaries. On the other hand, some people will also watch love stories, but the ones that actually depict healthy love. So it's not Valentine's per se, or but it's what we consistently expose ourselves to, because that's sort of what we believe in, and it
Right.
also includes our friends, right? So our
Oh,
friends. So if all of our friends have very toxic relationships and they're always complaining and they're always saying negative things about relationships, then you will also absorb those kinds of beliefs.
oh
So it's not
gosh.
Valentine. I mean, Valentine's has been around since what, the 1300s,
Since
1200s.
Hallmark invented it.
Okay, but Hallmark made a difference, yes. But Saint Valentine's, as a feast, he was
Right, right,
in 1200 AD. He died
right.
for, he was marrying couples even when he was in prison, because he believed in celebrating love and really helping couples who are really in love.
He was the love coach of the Middle Ages. I think there's a static coming from your hair and the
Oh, I
mic.
think it's my, yeah. Okay, I'll just
So,
hold this up so that it doesn't rub
there,
against.
there. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, there,
it's
better.
better.
So,
Okay.
so what is true love or real love? Does it even exist, or is this like a man-made romanticization of love? Right?
Okay.
Please
When we talk
enlighten
about
us.
true love, um, you know how it's something that you can't just define in one go, and people will always have different perceptions of it, even if we define it right now. Plus, also there's different kinds of love, like familial love. So
Right.
parents for their children, you for your siblings. So familial love, that's true love, right? That is true love. And you have friends who whatever happens, you can call them up 3 in the morning with
Right.
with 5 million. Someone kidnapped you. I hope it never happens. Someone kidnaps you. You need 5 million. There are friends of yours who love you enough to do anything that they can to
Right.
make sure that you are safe. So that's true love, but that's agape
Right.
love. That is friendship kind of love. And then so there are different kinds of love. So what I can say about whenever someone asks me, is there such a thing as true love? What I say is it doesn't have to be romantic for it to be true.
Right.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be romantic for it to be true, because there are also some people. I think you mentioned how, with a swipe right, swipe left kind of mentality, they think that they're looking for love, but a lot of these people only have an idea. They have this idea about what love is, because sometimes a lot of people, I hear that, they're afraid of becoming being in a passionless relationship. Okay,
Right.
but then again, we look at these so-called passionless relationships, and that's not always the case. We look at, there are still grandmothers and grandfathers who are
Right.
together, right? And most of the
Right.
time, it's like out of one week, you would only probably see them doing a one romantic thing per week. But that one romantic thing is enough, because true love is not also something that's always high all the time. It's something that plateaus. It's something that's stable. It's something that is just there, and you can go back to it and be assured that it's there, because you don't have to always keep impressing true love. So
Right.
true
Right.
love still happens. It's just that we have so many different things that are uh, preventing us from actually seeing the love that is there. I mean, like I said at the onset, at the beginning, it doesn't have to be romantic for it to be true. So that's why I'm so sure, and I always reassure people, I am so sure that you should be celebrating Valentine's no matter what happens, because I'm so sure that there are people who love you. And
Oh.
that's what Valentine's is. That's all it
Right.
is. It's a celebration of the love that is there. And I
Right.
think that's actually why Valentine's is important. A lot of times we take for granted the people who are around us, who are ready to love us. They're not always high in expressing that love for us, but the love is there and we can rely on it.
Right. But I'm sure for everything that you said, although people will try to be grateful for the love that they do have, those who
Mhm.
want like passionate romantic love that they see in the books and the movies, they're not going to be so easily appeased. And you said in one of your Facebook posts that if you want to find true love, do not go looking for true love.
Yes. That's actually one of the things, in the five ingredients to help us
Right.
manifest true love. That's actually one of the things that we're going
Right.
to be talking about.
Right. So let's jump right into it. Here are Coach Eileen's 5 essential ingredients to manifest love in your
Yes.
life.
Yes.
So number one is da da
Okay.
da
So number
da.
one, yes, it is self-knowledge. Okay. So what do we mean by self-knowledge? Okay. So self-knowledge, before you are in a relationship, you go into a relationship, that a healthy relationship with anyone else, you need to have a healthy relationship with yourself. Okay. You need to, and I'm not saying that you have to be 100% healthy and fixed in order to be in a happy relationship. In fact, you just need to know enough so that you know what your weaknesses are, what your blind spots are, what your strengths are. I actually know a lot of people who would make, I am so sure that their strengths are in a relationship stage, but they are
Right.
not so good at the dating stage, at the meeting people stage. So, but and there are those people who you see they have a new partner every 3 months, because they're good at that. They're good at that. They're
Right.
good at attracting people. But when it comes to sustaining the relationship for the long term, that's what they need to work on. So when it comes to self-knowledge, it's okay to not be completely fixed right away, but you need to know these things. So what relationship patterns do you need to improve on? So what are your weaknesses when it comes to relationship skills? Because it's not just mingling. We hear that all the time, right? Single and ready to mingle. But yeah, you're ready to mingle, but then are you sustaining the connections that you are making? Some people are great at mingling, but then that's why they're in this loop of one night stands, of hookups. It's because they don't really know how to sustain something that goes beyond 3 months. So, and for those who are great at sustaining relationships but don't know how to mingle and connect, then you need to work on that as well. So, we figure out what relationship patterns we need to improve on by looking at our past mistakes, our past relationships, whether these are relationships, romantic relationships, or maybe they're with our friends. So, we have to check what are the things that are usually like the downfall, because even in friendships we get a clue.
Right,
There
right.
are people,
Oh,
right, like in groups of friends, there
right,
are some people who disappear from the face of the earth, but there are some friends, they are the ones who are that they're so active in making sure that they keep in touch, that the friends are still getting together. But if
right,
you don't have that person, like everyone else is like this,
right.
they're in their comfort zone, they're not going to reach out, they're not going to remember that they have friends. So these are, well, not always mistakes, but these are the weak areas that we have to work on. Because if we're going to sustain a relationship, and if for you, and I think this actually applies to a lot of people, if for you true love includes being with that someone for the long term, the lifelong journey, then we need to work on our skills at every stage of the relationship cycle. So that's self knowledge. No one's going to work on those for you. I actually have sometimes have I still remember this message sender. So she was really making bad decisions in her relationships. She was staying with a guy who had gotten her pregnant twice, and then he was really toxic, and she was doing everything. She was lifting the relationship. In fact, the way she described it, there was no relationship. It's just that
Wow.
she she was like, yeah, someone he slept with and could get money from. So in short, she actually was doing an outreach program for
Oh
this
my
guy.
gosh.
He wasn't a boyfriend. He was an outreach program.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
And then, but and when and her friends were tired of listening to her because they were giving her the same advice and she was doing the same thing over and over. Her parents at the onset told her they do not like this guy, but she kept on going back to this guy. And then she in her last message, she said, "Coach Eileen, what do? I can't leave him, but this is the problem." Okay, so I just told her point blank, no one is going to solve your problem for you. That's your life. That's your problem. Who do you think is going to leave him for you? Is it your parents? Is it your friends? It's your
Oh.
life. So in the end,
Right.
self knowledge. That's it. I mean, we if we make a mistake once, that's a mistake. But if we keep doing the same thing over and over, and it's not helping us grow. It's not helping us become better people, then that's not a mistake. That's a choice. So we
Right.
need to choose to understand what we need to work on and improve on. And while we are building our relationships, we need to keep on becoming better versions of ourselves so that our relationship can only grow if we are growing ourselves.
So
So
this
that's just
will
one.
entail a lot. This will entail a lot of honesty and
Oh
being
yeah.
frank with ourselves because sometimes we don't even see it.
Yes.
And sometimes even if friends and family are already pointing it out to you,
Yes.
somehow we
The
refuse to believe. Like, why is
mm-hmm.
that? Why is that? Why is it like it seems like common
Um
sense to the outside world, but to somebody who
Actually,
feels
yeah. That
trapped
that's
in the
that's one thing that's
relationship?
true. There's that it's easier for people outside of the relationship to see what's happening. But also there's this truth. The pain that is familiar is more comfortable
Right,
than freedom that is unknown. Okay?
right.
So, yes, it feels
It's like
familiar, so we
the
keep
boy
going back to it.
like the boiling frog analogy, right?
Yes, the boiling
Right.
frog.
Which is
Okay.
when a frog is being boiled, the longer he is in the pot, the more familiar the pain feels, and so he's able to withstand more and more and more
Yeah, he
pain.
thinks it's just comfortable, warm jacuzzi, but it's actually he's already actually dying from
So
that.
people, let us not be the boiling frog and go to number two, the right
Okay, the
information.
right information. So we were talking about this earlier, right?
Right.
Some people, there are some people who really keep on exposing themselves to the wrong kinds of stories, to the wrong kinds of information, and they're happy with just finding memes and whatever, and or hugot lines, and then they think, oh, this is so true because this is so me, but they don't realize that what they're holding on to, that the information that they're exposing themselves to, do not lead to healthy relationships. And true love, when we talk about true love, what people really need and what people really want is healthy, healthy and long lasting love. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, people have to ask themselves, is the information I'm exposing myself to letting me know and letting me see and letting me imbibe the values of what real and healthy love looks like? Okay, so ask yourself, what does real and healthy love look like? Because on one hand, there's also, I know that there are people who grew up in toxic families. Okay, so that there's that reality, and for the longest time, they have been exposed to the wrong kinds of notions of love, like I will only love you if you do this. So that's very conditional kind of love, or maybe because they have parents who have undiagnosed mental or emotional issues, then I know people who grew up with parents with undiagnosed by bipolar disorder or other personality disorders, and they think that love is inconsistent or
Right.
love is dramatic. So they think
Right.
that, because that's their first idea of love, their parents, and especially the nurturing parent, the mom, if that mom is someone who just suddenly goes off into a rage without you knowing what you did wrong. So for a child growing up in that kind of environment, you tend to have this belief that love is unpredictable, and then when they do find a healthy stable relationship, they feel like they question themselves, they ask themselves, is this love? Because, and they don't know it, but their subconscious is telling them, this doesn't feel like home. Okay, this
Right.
doesn't feel
Right.
like the love that we are used to. So they start questioning and maybe sabotaging that love, even though that love is the healthy kind of love that they actually need for healing. That's why we really go back to ingredient number one, self knowledge. When we don't know that we should go for healthy kind of love, and when we don't know that we need to fix our idea of what healthy love looks like, then we're just going to go through that cycle of finding the wrong information, finding the wrong relationships, and thinking that that's all there is to it, that that's what we deserve.
Right. And
So,
the key
mhm,
almost always, doesn't it almost always lie in your childhood history and
yes, a lot of it
and
is
the
really there.
relationship of your parents.
Yes, that's always the critical ingredient. But when you're like you're 18, in your 20s, you can never really keep on blaming your parents. Yes,
Right.
they're
Right.
responsible for your wounds. They're the ones who caused your wounds. They were at fault, and we can be honest about that. They were at fault, but your healing is your responsibility. You cannot keep on waiting to get fixed magically by, your parents saying sorry or them realizing that they made all these mistakes. A lot of times that's not going to happen. They're on their own cycle, they're on their own journey. But your journey, no, when you find out what your wounds are, then it's your responsibility to take care of yourself, to seek healing for yourself, so that you can you can open yourself up to real and healthy love. It's not going to be their responsibility to fix the
Right.
mess they made. It's your
Right.
life. It's going to be your life. You can't keep on blaming them, and you can't keep on saying that, okay, the reason why I'm miserable in my love life or in my life in general is because I had crummy parents. But what if you're in your 50s? So what happened? What did you do with those 50 years? Yes, they were at fault, but your life is your responsibility. And you have to find the right information and the right support and healing for yourself.
And so the earlier you are able to unlock this key, the better for
Yes.
your life in general. And it's odd
Mm-hmm.
because, or maybe odd is not the word, but a lot of notions about true love, such as passion, or
Yeah.
like if somebody's jealous, it's because they love me,
Oh my
or
gosh,
if
yes.
somebody
Another
has
toxic side.
rules for you, like what to wear or what not to wear. It's
Yes, they're
because they love
controlling.
you, right? A
Oh
lot
my
of
gosh,
this could be
yes.
learned behavior from childhood and not
Mm-hmm.
just from media. Do you want to tell us about your experience
Okay,
about
there are a
this?
lot, and it's not just it's also uh we have encountered so many different people who've been trapped in abusive relationships, and it's not always childhood. It's not always
Oh,
based on
okay.
childhood.
Wow.
Maybe what happened in childhood was, they had low self-esteem, or they felt like they had to compete for love, but it wasn't an
Right,
abusive home. Okay, it's
right,
just that maybe there were like nine kids and you had to
right,
compete
right,
for love. You
right,
were sort of neglected, but it wasn't the parents' fault. They were doing the best that they could with what they had. But then they, especially if people start out in relationships at a young age, okay, at a young age, like in high school, and then they are swept off their feet. And you know how in high school it's really more,
right,
it's really less of love and more hormones and more,
right,
oh, he's hot or
right,
she's
right,
cute,
right,
and that's it, okay.
right.
But then if we get used to that, so that we have seen in our counseling clinic, people who got trapped in abusive relationships because it was similar to the frog. They were not aware, and that's what abusers do. Okay, just so people know that that's what it's a progression. You don't always realize that this guy is an abuser, okay, or this woman, because there are female abusers as well. Okay, it starts out with, but what usually happens, this cycle is, you are swept off your feet. It's like a whirlwind romance. It's like he or she is doing all the things that you have dreamed of, but mostly it's he, because women have more of these romantic notions. So
Right.
you're looking for passionate love. Oh my gosh, abusers, they are so good at this.
Ooh,
Narcissists,
beware.
these people, yes, they are so good at this. Sweeping you off your feet, the works, everything. So, and then slowly but surely, they would start uh, telling you what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to wear. And yes, they fall under the blanket of because I love you so much. And
Right,
then they will start uh it's like isolating you from your family support systems. So he would say stuff like, you know what, your friends seem to not such be a good influence on you.
right,
So he would turn you against your friends. And then maybe because you would be living together, you would be away from your family. So that's what he does. He isolates you from your support systems until when that happens, then that's when the physical abuse starts happening. And then there's always that he's so apologetic right after. And then he always is so very, very, very sweet right after. And then that cycle becomes, you don't realize that the abuse is getting worse because the passion right after the abuse, it's sort of, you feel like it negates all the
right,
stuff that's been
right. May
happening, right?
pangbawi lagi.
Yes. So yeah, so if you are looking for super super passionate love, so abusers, they're passionate in every way. You can
Right,
say that in a sense. They're passionate when it comes to lashing out at you, and they're passionate when it comes to making it up to you, but then the lashing out at you often ends with you uh, getting really physically, emotionally traumatized, and until it's really hard to recover. And
right,
it's hard to, one of the things that I also know that makes it hard for them to escape is that, because they have been separated from their support system. So it's hard to make a plan that they can hide from the abuser. And usually, abusive partners, they have a higher tendency of killing their partners by
oh my,
accident
oh
when
my,
when they find out that their partner is trying to escape the relationship.
Oh
That's
my.
why that's why actually it is hard to get out of these
Right.
relationships, especially if your support system, they're far away from you. And abusive partners will keep track of your phone records, your browsing history. They
Oh
will
my
want to know your
gosh.
passwords for everything. Yes, in all in the name of they love you so much
Oh
and
my
they don't want to
gosh.
lose you.
Okay.
So
Caveat
yes.
emptor, buyer beware. On the other side of the spectrum naman, let's say they're not abusive, but maybe we find them boring. What if we find them boring and say, well, I don't really feel anything, or maybe you already have love and then you kind of wonder, is this true love? Because it's so boring. What if like the chemistry has worn off, or maybe you feel like the
Oh,
love
okay.
has
I am glad that you
died?
mentioned
What
chemistry.
do we
Okay.
do
When it
about
comes to
that?
chemistry, okay, when it comes to chemistry though, uh chemistry, just like the science side of chemistry, you
Right.
can create it. You can create sparks. It's so
Ooh, you can
if it
create
was there in the
sparks.
first place. Yes, you can create sparks whenever you want to. That's the truth. I mean, people, when especially in marriages, when people get married, they it's because they love each other enough to know that
Right.
they want this person in their lives. Okay, but of course life happens. Pandemics happen like what we notice right now.
Right.
So we will have issues with our careers. We will have our ups and downs with our finances. We will have super exhausted years with when there are kids or when there are aging parents. So that's life, but you have
Yeah.
someone to share your life with. It's
Right.
just that yes, there comes a time when two people, they have forgotten, because or maybe not forgotten, but they're just so tired, they're just so exhausted that they haven't been able to make the effort to put chemistry back into their love life. But this is the good news, especially for this is why I tell husbands and wives this advice. Um, in order to, you can spark chemistry anytime, okay? And the way to do this is this: husbands, keep on dating your wives, and wives, keep on flirting with your husbands. Okay, so these two things, dating skills and flirting skills, they are not just for single people. But you have to start them when you're single. I mean, how can you say that you're going to keep on flirting with your husband when you don't know how to flirt and you're single? Okay,
Right.
that's why I keep telling people these are lifelong skills. These aren't skills that you use for a certain stage, but then you're not going to use them afterwards. No, when you're ready to mingle, you need to know flirting. When you are dating, you need to know flirting. When you are in a engaged, you need to know flirting, and especially when you have been married for so long, you need to know flirting. And husbands, what is dating, by the way? Dating is that time away where you take your wife away from the grind of, the usual grind of being tired and doing all these things, make her forget all these things, and create kilig moments for her where it's just the two of you in your own world. And that's what dating is. It doesn't matter what you prepare or not prepare or what you plan for those dates, but that's it. It's letting her feel like she doesn't need to be responsible for other people, is that she is her, and you are focused on her, you are giving focused attention on her and what she likes.
And
That's
can
what
these
dating
roles
is.
be reversed, or in the case of same-sex partnerships, who flirts and who
Okay.
dates?
Okay. I have no expertise in
Right.
same-sex relationships, so I really can't say. Actually, I have a lot
Right.
of friends who are asking me, Coach Eileen, what about us? Can you give us seminars? But here's the thing. On one hand, I cannot talk about something that I have not experienced or am not
Right. Right.
experiencing. And
Right.
second, I have focused my expertise on heterosexual relationships, and that by itself is already this huge body of knowledge that that you have to keep on studying. So I keep telling my friends, you know what, if there's going to be an effective coach or counselor, that person has to come from you, because someone who has
Oh,
experience, who is walking
right.
the talk and is really studying the psychology of that,
Right.
because it's entirely different. And I
Right.
know this from interactions with them. It's really a different kind of balance of
Right.
energies. Yes.
Right. Okay. So
So
number
someone needs to
three.
be the coach for that.
Right.
A
Number
learning
three.
mindset.
Right.
Yes,
Daming
that's the third
gagawin.
ingredient. Yeah, that's why.
Daming
And I'm
pag-aaralan.
glad. I'm gonna say a real congratulations to everyone who is watching us right now, who are tuning in to ask Miss Mears, because automatically I am so sure your audience, they are the people who have a learning mindset. They know
Oh,
that
right.
they're not going to stay where they are. They want to become better versions of who they are, and they're not doing it for other people. They're doing it first and foremost for themselves, because they don't want to be stagnant, and that's the truth. We only stop living when we stop learning, and we need
Right.
to have a learning mindset. So, warning, especially for those who are still single, you actually have, if you're single, you have a clean slate to work with. So, do stay away from potential partners who have this idea that, oh, you have to uh I'm who I am, you have to accept me for who I
Oh,
am,
we
and I'm
hear
not
that a
going to
lot.
change.
We hear that a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it can be abused. There's this uh what do you call that, definition of love, where it says that uh so when someone loves you, they accept you for who you are, and that's true. Okay. And but there's the other side of the coin, where, yeah, it's different when someone accepts you for who you are, and it's different when there's someone who doesn't want to see their mistakes, who doesn't want to change their bad behavior, even when they say supposedly that they love you.
Right.
Okay. How can they say that they love you, or even that they love themselves, if they are not improving for the better?
Right.
Okay. So do not go for a partner who thinks that, you know, they're using the definition of love, of accept me for who I am, as an excuse for you to tolerate their bad behavior, their bad attitude. So because when you're in a relationship, or even when you're not in a relationship, the goal should always be, we will keep on developing ourselves. And going back to that, the learning mindset also includes this. Yeah, you can flash now the definition. Yeah, because you asked me earlier, uh, when you're looking for true love, you do not go around looking for true love.
Right.
Okay? Because here's the thing, you do not find love ready made. Okay?
Mm.
It's not like the perfect kimchi or the perfect samgyup, where you know that you're shopping around, looking, checking out different stores and online sellers, and then you find something that's okay, this is perfect, this is what I'm going to go back to over and over. No. Love is, I mean, this is real life, it's not fiction. That's why I'm also a romance author,
Right.
so that I can teach
Oh,
people love facts versus love fiction. Okay. In love fiction, everyone knows who the lead character is. Everyone knows who the main lead is, who the main character is, who, and then you know that they're the main character, because the first time that they meet, there's going to be that background music, and then there's going to be
yes.
slow motion, and there's really close up shots of the eyes, and then they're looking into each other's eyes, and then there's that arc shot, the camera going around the couple as they look into each other's eyes, with cherry blossoms falling all around them. So
The
I
meet cute. It's called the
yeah,
meet
the
cute,
super
right?
meet cute. Yes. So in real life, no one knows who's the one they are. No one does.
Mm.
There is no OST playing when you meet. Maybe he's probably going to step on your foot, or do something else, or you meet him because you spill coffee on him. So it could happen, and then, or maybe you think, you find out that you're enemies, you're each other's competition somewhere. So that's why you don't find love ready made. What you
Right.
do is you find potentials, people with the same values and life direction that you have. And then when this person invests in spending time with you, and you invest in spending time getting to know this person as well, and you realize, hey, we when we talk, it's okay, I feel comfortable.
Right.
When we're together, I don't need to be someone else other than who I am.
Right.
And this person, because of his or her good qualities, I am inspired to be better as well. So that only happens through a getting to know process. So there are no shortcuts. You get to know people, and from those people that you get to know, you find people who are worth investing time, get investing time in, to really maintain that connection. And then from those people who you maintain connections with, you find the people that you realize, oh, I want to be in this person's life for the long term. So you grow love. In fact, it's been said that you don't find your soulmate. What happens is after 25 years of marriage, after all the growing and going through challenges together, and coming out stronger, all the times that you both failed and you forgave each other and you supported each other, that's when you would have turned each other into each other's soulmates, and that's true love. So you don't
Wow.
find it, you grow it from
Wow.
people who invest in you and you invest in them. They inspire you and you inspire them as well.
Wow. So there's really an application process. We have a common friend, our former office mate. She had this fantasy of she wanted to find true love in a bookstore, just like
I think I know
in
that
the
friend.
movie.
I know that friend.
Only in the bookstore, right? Because then she will know
Mm,
that they're into the same kind of reading material, or and she to the point where she didn't want to go out except to the bookstore, just waiting for love.
okay.
So maybe we'll let her listen to this. Let's see.
Yes, please.
15 years later, let's see what happened.
Okay. It doesn't, I mean, we're not saying that it never happens. I've been hit on in a
Good.
bookstore.
Oh,
Yeah,
me
people
too.
have
And then I ran
yeah, right? Okay. And they seem like decent people,
away.
but I
Right.
was already married then. Okay. So,
Right.
but yeah, we're not saying that it doesn't happen, but
It does.
that is such a limited way of finding people.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
especially right now, you mentioned in the pandemic. But here's the thing, and I wanted to share this with you. So people right now are telling me, Coach Aileen, how can I meet people? It's the
Right.
pandemic, blah
I
blah
know.
blah, social distancing. But guess what? uh 2 years ago, when there was no pandemic, singles had the same problem and were still coming to me with the same question, Coach Eileen, how do I meet people? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it's not what the situation is, it's not what's happening right now. It's really how committed are we to making things happen. Because, and here's the good news, just in case your viewers want to know, this pandemic since 2020, I have coaches who got married. I
Wow.
have coaches, and that was during, special privilege. It's like I think she was in New York, and there was this day when the New York City Hall said, "Okay, couples, be in the parking lot, and we're going to make, yeah," and they got married. So I have coaches who got engaged during this pandemic, and I have coaches who were single before the pandemic, and they now have relationships during the
Wow.
pandemic. They were dating basically through chat, and they would watch the same video and movies, and they would kill each other in Among Us, but yeah, they were bonding. So it's not the situation, it's how committed we are to really making the most of where we are right now. Okay, so
Wow.
pandemic or not, real love, it can still happen, and it's really up to us. We are the script writers of our life story. That's why we have free will, right? No one is
Right.
dictating to us what we can do and what we are not able to do. I mean, but just as a disclaimer, if you're 28 years old or even just 25 years old, and your parents are still like sort of controlling your love life, it's
Strict
like
parents.
yes, it's like no one is ever good enough. You're meeting people during the pandemic, but still they're not good enough. Okay, so you will have to uh, fix your relationship with your parents in terms of fixing your boundaries with them, because they may not realize that they're doing it. Okay, so you have to stand your ground, so that you can live your life. When you are able to have healthier boundaries with your parents, that's actually a good relationship skill, so that when you have your own relationship, then you would know what healthy boundaries look like. Okay? And
Right.
parents, controlling your adult children's love lives or lives, that's not healthy. Okay? They need to live their own lives. Your parents' goal is just to prepare them to live their own lives. So when they're in their 20s and you are still controlling them, that means you know that you didn't do a good job, because you can't
Right.
trust them yet to live their own lives.
Right.
So focus on growing love, not finding love, because you can't find love ready made.
I'm reminded by my sister Shakira Season. She has quite a few followers on Twitter, and somebody asked her about what she should do about her strict parents. And my sister said, "There's no such thing as strict parents if you are an adult. What is the
Yeah,
truth is you are not allowing yourself to be an adult, and you
to
are
stand as an adult. Yes.
being strict to yourself and
Yes.
not taking responsibility for your own
And
life."
what it probably, yeah, taking responsibility, that's the key. That is so true. What that simply means is you don't you are not strong enough. You don't feel like you're strong enough to really live as an adult. Not just call
Right,
yourself an adult, but really live as an adult and start living your own life. Okay?
right.
So
So
ingredient number 4,
it's clarity.
clarity. Okay. Be clear. Okay. This is another pothole, manhole for a lot
Pothole.
of people. Yeah, because they slip into it without noticing. But a lot of people have, I think this also applies to our common friend. A lot of
Ooh.
people have this idea about what they need in a what they want in a partner, or what they want in a relationship. Okay? But they are not clear about what they actually need to be happy in a relationship.
Right.
Okay? In fact, you know how a lot of people stick to a certain type. I think that's our friend. She wants a bookworm like herself. But you don't just find bookworms on in a bookstore. They are not always there. They're in other places as well. Okay? But here's the thing, okay? Okay, so he's a reader, he's a bookworm, but eh, she probably doesn't know what would make her happy in a
Right.
relationship. Okay, so just because he reads books, okay, what are you going to do like every day 24/7? He's going to be reading a book while you're taking care of breakfast, lunch, dinner, the laundry, cleaning the house, making a living. So is that what's going to make you happy? So that's why dating, and I always tell singles this, you date to get to know people, not to find the love of your life. You get to know people, and then eventually, it's a numbers game. If you meet like four new people every month, then by the end of a year, you would have gotten to know 48 new people. And from
Right.
those 48 new people, then you would have most likely, okay, most likely at least two of them would probably make good potentials. And that's just that's the best possible number probability, and we're talking about marketing, right? When you do marketing, we know this. And dating is marketing. You know this, right? In marketing, you send out what, 500 emails, and if you get a response rate of 5 to 50, gosh, your marketing is doing really, really well. So same thing when dating. You may find, at least if you find four out of those 48 people who seem like they're good people to invest really get to know, to invest your time and effort in, then you are doing fine. Okay, so but also what happens is you are not just getting to know people, you are getting to know yourself. You're getting to realize, okay, especially for our common friend, she's just a case study, a sample. Okay, so she thinks she needs someone who loves to read. Okay, so she can date 48 people in a year who love to read. I mean, there are online groups of avid readers.
Right.
Okay. So she can interact with them, like not even have to go out with them, just start a chat with them. But what if she realizes, and so it's already proven, she's in a group of bookworms. So they're all bookworms, but she starts a chat with them, and they can't even hold a chat conversation. They
Right,
don't have
right,
time, or they're not invested. So she realizes now, okay, it's not just a bookworm that I need. It's someone who can actually sustain a conversation, and someone that, I can talk to with these interests about. So not just a bookworm, someone she can actually talk to, someone who can sustain a conversation, someone who's interested in her. And then, so that's how dating should be. You are getting to know other people, and you are getting to know the kind of people you actually need in your life, the people you want to keep in your life, and you're getting to know yourself more.
right,
You realize, okay, I'm just realizing now, I need this to make me happy. So it's not
right,
just this, what I thought would make me happiest. It's not just that. There are certain things that I do need from a partner.
right. And you
So
don't just mean money, right?
yes, yes, definitely. Oh my gosh, I had no. Okay, I hope it's okay. Chinese New Year is coming up. I have coaches, okay, who are from Chinese families, and they are having problems with their parents because their parents have this mindset. Okay, they
Right,
don't. Their parents have no clarity. Okay, because they think. And on one hand, I honor those parents. They want their children. Usually, it's the
right,
women who are coming to me. Their parents are saying, your husband has to be Chinese. Your husband has to be Chinese because we're Chinese, okay? And because for their parents, the parents are thinking this way. If your husband is Chinese, one, they would understand the culture, so there won't be too many clashes. So understanding the culture means they know the expectations of what a husband should do and what a son should do. And then second, they probably would have their business and their money, and they would probably be responsible. Okay, but just because they're Chinese, so clarity comes in. That's a stereotype, because just because they're Chinese doesn't mean they're all these three things.
right,
So they may have money now, but it could be their parents' money. They may have a
right,
business now, but it could be their parents' business.
right,
They might be responsible because their parents are forcing them to, do this and do that. But if their parents are gone, they don't know how to take responsibility for themselves.
right.
So, yes,
Again,
clarity.
it will take a lot of self introspection, self awareness, a lot of self
Yes.
work.
Yes.
Number
And
five is
finally, last but not least, the fifth ingredient, when you know all of these things, or you don't even have to know all of these things about yourself already, what you need, what you need to work on, and all the right information and the skills. That's why this applies to while you're learning. You need consistent action. Okay. Uh, I want to give an example. Okay. So some people, because I tell them it's the pandemic, it's completely fine to use apps, online dating apps, to meet more people. And I clarify with them what dating is all about. It's about getting to know people. But then what happens is, like, they have the app for, so they say, but Coach Eileen, I tried this app and it didn't work. Okay. So
it
I,
didn't
so they
work.
deleted, so they deleted the app. So when I clarify, what do you mean it didn't work? I went out on 5 dates. I've met these 5 people, and then it didn't work. I didn't
Wala.
find anyone interesting. Okay. But here's the thing. I mean, in dating in real life, and apps just help us meet people.
Right.
There's no guarantee that, it, what do you mean it didn't work?
I
You
want
had
my
five
money back.
dates.
I want my money back.
But the thing is, that's what dating is. You don't find someone after 5 dates. You don't find someone even after, like I said, 48 meetups. Okay, because you don't go into a relationship just to change your relationship status, or just because you want a relationship. That's the other way around. What happens is, you meet someone worthwhile, and then you realize for yourself, I think I'm okay with being in a relationship if it's this person, because he or
Right.
she is worth it. So
Right.
dating should be consistent, meeting people should be consistent, and learning better relationship skills should be consistent. So it's not what we do once in a while, but what we do consistently that creates a lasting change. Okay? It's like fitness. just because you
Right.
go through a Zumba session once or even five Zumba sessions. So I'm going to use that as a metaphor for the online dating. You go on five Zumba sessions. So you think you're going to be super fit and healthy and super sexy after just five Zumba sessions. And what you're going to tell me, Coach Eileen, I went to Zumba 5 times. It didn't work. Okay. No, you do it consistently because it's for you. You learn consistently, you clarify consistently, you expose yourself to the right information consistently, and you improve on your own relationship skills consistently. And
Right.
that is what creates true love. And what you're doing is already manifesting true love in yourself when you do these things consistently. And
So
it's
they're
going
like,
to be much easier for you to recognize true love when it actually comes along.
oh, so they're like love habits, consistent.
Yes, consistent habits.
But still,
And
there's no
we,
guarantee, right?
because that's life, because that's
Right.
life. I mean, uh, uh metaphor is our careers. You could have
Right.
been, I know so many people, you could have been super great at your career, and then you kept on improving your career skills, you got promoted, you had a lot, you were going through leadership workshops and all of these things, but then the pandemic happened, and if you were in the tourism industry, you were a manager at a hotel. I know someone who was with a certain airline for the longest time. She started out as a flight attendant, and then she was just in 2019 she was a trainer of flight attendants, but then the pandemic happened and she got laid off, even though she was so good at her job, she was so passionate about her job, and she had to pivot. In life there really are no guarantees. In fact, that's what I think the pandemic is teaching us. um, like our breath, we take it for granted that we're going to take the next breath and the next breath and it's going to be just there. But with COVID, very specifically, people are getting hooked up to oxygen machines because the next breath is no longer guaranteed. So everything about life is not guaranteed. But here's the
Right.
thing, time is going to pass by anyway.
Right.
Pandemic or not, normal or not, time is passing by. So the question is, what are you going to do with that time? 1 year from now, are you still going to be in the same place? Asking the same questions of Miss Mears. Miss Mears, how do we find true love? Okay. Or would you have applied at least one of these ingredients, whether it's self knowledge or the right information or learning mindset or clarity or consistent action? And if you do any, just one of these things, then you will be in a different place 1 year from now. 1 year is going to pass. We saw that. I mean, last year,
Right.
2020, it was like January, February, March, quarantine, and then it was December. Okay,
Right.
so time is going to pass by. What are you going to do with the time that is given to you? What are you going to do with your life? This is your life. This is your one life here on earth. In fact, I that's why I don't believe in you only live once. You actually live every day, but you only die once. So the question is, what do you do in the living of the everyday so that when you die, you would have actually made a life for yourself
Wow. And if you still don't find true love, you will have found true love with your own self, right?
with your own self. And that's where it should always start.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much, Eileen.
Thank you, Miss Mears.
Had a great time and very enlightening. And a lot of our viewers are super happy. We currently have 8,000 people watching us.
Wow.
So I'm sure everybody
And just
learned
on Kumu. And
so much
you're going to
today.
post the replay. Yes.
Right, right, right. So thanks again. Happy Valentine.
Happy Valentine's to you too.
And I
To
hope you
you
get
and your hubby.
busier and busier this Valentine's month and
Yeah,
beyond.
just this
So
month though. It's just
please,
once a year, so it's fine.
right, please invite them to follow you. I'm flashing all your information below.
Okay, yes, please. So if you, first of all, please do, when Miss Mears uploads this on Facebook, please do share the video, especially when you know you have friends who will benefit from this. please find me on Facebook. You can find me. It's easier to find me facebook.com/Coach Aileen, or you can just type in Coach Aileen Santos, and you will find me there on Facebook. Please follow my page because every Friday at 9 p.m. Manila time, I also answer the most common questions that I get throughout the week, and that we call that series Fall in Love Friday. I think I've been doing it for
Right.
2 years now.
Wow,
So Fall in Love Friday,
congratulations.
yeah, for 2 years now, 2 years worth of Fridays. So they are mini love workshops. You will always get love lessons, and remember, right information, learning mindset, and consistent action. You can already apply those things as you expose yourselves to this information on IG. I'm also at Coach Aileen Santos. And if you want to find, well, most of my videos are still on Facebook, but we will be slowly moving them also to my YouTube
Right.
page.
What's
So,
the most
yeah,
common love question that you're asked?
right now,
Or
it really depends.
in
It really
general?
depends on the season.
Right
Yeah,
now.
I get different kinds of questions. It's like there are like cycles. Right now, they are asking, basically the singles are asking, how do we celebrate Valentine's this season? I'm glad that they're
Okay.
not trying to push themselves to find a date on Valentine's, because
Okay.
you don't find, remember, dating is getting to know. So you don't
Right.
find someone who you're just getting to know and put the pressure of a Valentine date on them,
Right.
right? I mean, you're just getting to know them.
So,
So, and there's going to be expectation. Like if you're the one who was asked out, and then you don't really know this person, maybe you've just interacted once or twice, maybe online, and then this person is asking you out on Valentine's Day, and then you say yes, then you will also be creating that false expectation of, oh, this is going to
exactly.
be a relationship afterwards. So, yeah, don't put the pressure of a Valentine's date on people, but singles are asking. And yeah, February makes them, reminds them of their love lives. They realize, oh, wait a minute, I haven't been paying attention to my love life. So, so that's a good reminder.
Right.
And along with that reminder is to, that gratitude and that awareness that love is already there in their life. And remember, gratitude is, gratitude multiplies everything. So when we're grateful that for the love that we already have in our life, whatever form it's in, then we will create more of that in our lives. We will create more love in our lives.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Miss Mears, and everyone who is learning from Miss Mears.
Right. And I see you again, hopefully before February 2022. All right. Thanks
Okay.
again.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. This has been Ask Miss Mears, and I'll see you very soon.